Welcome back to Cam & Company here on NRAnews.com and Sirius XM Patriot. I don't know that I'd call this segment the Danger Zone, but glad that you are with us. Now, last night, episode 2 of Top Shot aired on the History Channel. Let's take a look at a little bit of last night's program.
Sarah, unfortunately, you have fired your last shot. You've officially been eliminated from Top Shot. Come on over here. Say goodbye to these guys.
Good luck. Through my experience on Top Shot, I learned that it's not as easy as just setting up the challenges in your backyard, because there's not the same pressures that you have as being in this competition. But, you know, I had a great opportunity to meet some really great people.
Sara Ahrens joins us now from Top Shot. And, Sara, thank you for coming on the program tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. All right, first of all, tell us your thoughts on last night's episode and everything that you went through.
You know, there was a lot of stress building up to the premiere last week and this week. You know, you just never know how things are going to be edited. So for me, that was probably more stressful than the actual competitions.
Yeah.
The first episode, you know, I was a little disappointed. Some stuff that I thought was kind of important for the audience to see was left out, and I thought it kind of set the foundation for some of the interactions that occurred on the second episode. But the second episode, I felt a little bit redeemed because I think it at least gave a glimpse of some of the stress that was going on within the house, and that all, you know, that kind of stress affects you. So watching the episode last night, I was pleasantly surprised and had a little bit better taste in my mouth than I did after watching the first episode.
The actual challenges. I mean, let's go through the competition. You guys were shooting the AK-47, 4-station obstacle course. Did you feel pretty confident going in?
Yeah, I felt really confident, and you know, a lot of our team members are prior military, to include myself. When we walked up and I saw what the competition was, I honest to God, in my heart, I knew we were going to win that. There was, outside of something beyond our control, I knew skill-wise that we were going to win it. And, you know, things happen that are beyond our control, and, you know, we experienced some of that during that competition, and, you know, unfortunately that's what cost us, you know, the win.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to the elimination round, you guys were shooting the Smith & Wesson M&P 45. Was this a gun that you had handled before?
Not the caliber, but I do have a Smith & Wesson M&P that my agency issues. I do not carry it on duty. I have it for the sole purposes of instruction, and I'm also an armorer for it. So I was the range master for 4 years for my department. When we got the Smith & Wessons, I made sure that each of our 26 firearms instructors also had the Smith & Wesson, whether or not they chose to carry it for instructional purposes, and just so that we have familiarity, so when we're helping officers on the range, we kind of know the inner workings of it.
Okay. So again, going into the elimination round, did you feel comfortable at least with what the challenge was and the gun you were shooting?
You know, I did. It should have been my challenge, and you know, if I have a second, I would like to give a little bit of insight, because there's some underlying stress that I don't know, you know, if people know about me. You know, some of the stuff wasn't introduced on the History Channel, but this might put people into my mind a little bit, because I had a little bit of baggage when I walked up and I saw that competition, because really it was kind of designed for somebody like me. It should have been my strong suit.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can say that I felt when I saw that was that this could be a complete disaster for me in my career. And I'll explain that by saying that, you know, I've been a police officer for 15 years, 18 months on the job. I was involved in an officer-involved shooting. When I saw the friend and foe targets, having run, you know, my department's firearms program for 4 years and having other officers being involved in officer-involved shootings, I recognized the liability in hitting a friendly target on national TV and what that could mean for me if I'm ever involved in another shooting on my job. And that put an inordinate amount of stress on me that I did not anticipate, and it naturally forced me to have to at least slow down to make sure that I didn't hit those friend targets. That's something that could be used in litigation, you know, in my career if I'm ever involved in another shooting, and that was some stress I put on myself, and real or imagined, it was there, and
Yeah.
I did the best I can, and Dustin's an awesome competitor. He's very skilled, and I have no shame in losing to him.
Well, and again, I think you shot very well. 11 targets in 1 minute. I mean, Sarah, I bow to you.
The thing, actually, once I looked at it, the thing with the bulbs is they didn't explode. So I'm almost positive that what happened was because once I looked at where my shots went, they're about 1 to 2 inches below where the bulbs were.
Yeah.
So I believe actually probably what was going on is I hit the first 2 targets and I could clearly tell that I hit them. But then when a couple targets after that, I hit one and it just barely put a hole in it. So I didn't know if I had hit it or not. So I actually started checking to see if I was actually breaking the targets. So I think I was probably looking over my sights and, I'm trying to confirm visually that I hit the target because, it's like any firearm you pick up, especially on that show, you get limited time to sight in limited rounds. I didn't shoot more than 20 rounds in advance of any competition, and as few as 3 rounds with the Smith & Wesson 500 before I actually had to shoot in a competition with it. Every gun sight's a little bit, different when you pick it up, and it's a matter of trying to figure out in a very short round count where that gun shoots for you. So I didn't have a lot of faith in where my sight picture was, and then when I didn't have that, immediate knowledge that I was breaking my targets, I was checking before I moved on to the other one, and that was a mistake, and, live and learn.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, Sarah, tell me about the experience you had on Top Shot. Was it, did it meet your expectations? What were your expectations going in?
My expectations going in was, to do the best I could to, make my family proud. Some of the stress that I felt before I went in there was I certainly didn't want to let, women down. It's a big burden to have on your shoulders to have, 1 or 2 women per show, and I don't want to be the person that makes everybody have a bad opinion of female shooters, and I'm a little, sad about the outcome that Amanda and I are gone number 1 and number 2 because I feel like for my part that I did some damage there, but like I said, I did the best I can. There was a lot of drama going on behind the scenes. There was a lot of things going on that the viewers don't know. The AK-47 competition, we had one of our 2 rifles malfunctioned in 3 of the 4 stages, starting with me, moving on to Mike Hughes, and ultimately with Jake, who didn't get his rounds off because he couldn't get the malfunction cleared.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, yes, and we had problems in the practice before, and those are the kind of things you don't see. You didn't see Jake run down the pole in the first competition, which cost us a penalty and, cost me and Jarrett to have to run 5 legs of that first obstacle course before we had to shoot our targets. And there's a lot of stuff that, that was simmering under the surface. And, really I was sorry to see the blue team go to the elimination, but, malfunctions are a fact of life in my life, especially because I work on my own guns. So, I mean, it's not something I'm not used to.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of, overcoming it and moving on. And it's a real life situation that, I've trained for and did the best I could to clear them quickly. But it rattles you a little. And we kept catching up, but, ultimately, we couldn't get it cleared during the last phase, and it cost us competition. And it sucks to go out like that. And, but like I said, I don't have any shame in losing to Dustin because he's a good guy and he's a good competitor.
Yeah. So how was work today, Sarah?
Today I actually have been off.
Oh, yeah, you have?
Yeah, it's actually my days off. So I'm on days off, but I will say that my Facebook was lighting up. My cell phone was text messages, lighting up, and I think I had like 196 notifications
Wow.
on my Facebook, and all of them very positive. I will say that I made the mistake of going on to Top Shot Facebook fan page last night. Actually, my daughter wanted me to go because my friends and family and Facebook friends were posting some very positive things about standing up for myself, and she wanted to see what they said on the fan page, and there were some pretty nasty comments on there, and that resulted in my daughter getting pretty upset, and I think she lost a little innocence there reading how nasty people can actually be. So that's probably the only time in this whole competition where I wondered if maybe I made a mistake.
Well, that is disappointing to hear, but listen,
yeah, it is.
I think that I think your daughter has somebody to look up to. I think there are a lot of women around the country who are looking up to you. Later in the program tonight, we're going to be talking with a firearms instructor out in Fresno named Natalie Paulus, who is putting on instruction courses for women who want to shoot. And I think, Sarah, that going forward, you're somebody that these women will be looking up to.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think so. And Sarah, listen, I really appreciate you coming on the program. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, no problem. Have a good night.
You too. Sara Ahrens joining us, eliminated from the Top Shot program.